Hello and welcome back to today's Personal Finance Show here on Dublin City FM with me, Paul Merriman from askpaul.ie, and I am joined in studio by Emma Kehoe. Emma, very welcome to the studio. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, Paul.
It's been a long time. I've been waiting for this for ages.
I know.
I know you did something with us for, I think it was International Women's Day.
I did.
Yeah, that was a number of years. I think it was 2 years ago.
I loved that chat.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. I got so much information.
Yeah, it was Lucia and I think it was Nicola Mogley as well. Yeah, that did it.
Amazing woman.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman. Yeah, she's a really lovely woman too. So, yeah, that was the last time it kind of had anything to do with us, but it's great to have you in the studio. So what we want to speak to you about is mainly goal setting, and just started off this section, goal setting 2026. And I don't know what the statistics are. I know most statistics are made up on the spot, so I won't try it. But a lot of people fail by the end of January. They say that when you're goal setting, I think it's the motivation's kind of high and it kind of whittles away. Why do you think that is? Like when you're talking to people and helping them, what do you think is the reason?
I think the reason is as well, there's so much pressure that we put on ourselves because when January comes, we think that we need a whole new reset. We need a whole new change, and this is us. It's January. Don't set yourself up for failure and trying to figure out that you need to change your whole self in 1 month. And realistically, like January, you're still only over Christmas. You're only getting back on track from your first payday after Christmas. I call it like just start to gather information of what worked well for you in 2025.
It's like a recap month,
I call it an audit.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
You're auditing your year.
So rather than waking up and having loads of, motivation and trying to change everything, don't really do anything, maybe till February or March.
Yeah.
But that's a cool idea.
In January, just give yourself an audit. And this is what I do. I'm an avid journaler. And I sat with myself and I said, okay, what worked well for me in 2025? Is there things I need to let go? Is there things I learned? And what would I like to do more of?
Right, very good. Just on the journaling then, sorry, do you mind
Go on.
I love when I interview people, this is because
I love it.
I'm more interested now for myself than my listeners. So I've tried journaling, right?
Yes.
And I found it repetitive. So when I was journaling and kind of gratitude, and I was kind of going, this is not to say boring, but I was kind of going, for gratitude, I was saying the same things. But is it that you have to be the same gratitude all the time to kind of...
No.
Okay.
So journaling is so vast. It has so many areas, and this is something I do in my workshops as well, because I've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah.
I think journaling is like therapy. If you're not into, say, going and maybe speaking to someone, write it down, get it off your chest.
Yeah.
Done. So there's so many different types of journaling, from a brain dump. So today I went here, I did this, I felt like this, but you want to express your emotions, your behaviours and what you're doing.
Now, sorry.
And then you have gratitude as well. But we need to recognise your feelings, Paul. Feelings.
So I knew this was going to go off on a tangent straight away. So listeners, we'll get back to the whole goal set thing in a second, but it's really interesting. So I will feel that when I try to write things down, and not that I care about what Sarah sees or anybody else sees, but I always feel that, it's so inner that when you're putting it down on paper, you're nearly afraid of having it out in the universe. That's probably the problem, to be fair. But do many people do that, or is that just maybe
I had that.
had
that at the start. I definitely can resonate. I had that for, I'd say, about the first year, because number one, you're afraid to own your own truth. You're afraid to say it out loud, and then you're afraid that someone's going to find it. But realise you have to trust, not only trust other people, but you have to learn how to trust yourself.
Right.
That it's okay to write things down and put it away. You don't have to read over it.
And do you ever write down mad things?
Yeah. My mind is a minefield. It's like Narnia in there. Honestly.
Looking back, what was that?
Because I have so many I started in 2020 when I went through a really hard time in my life,
right.
And it literally got me through. And even looking back, it's like Harry Potter's Chronicles, all the files. But I have about 20 journals. I haven't read over them, but I know I'd love to flip back one day
and see the progress, man.
All versions of me, all the chapters of my life.
Oh, yeah, okay. I
I've
never thought of it like that, to be fair.
Because it's a reflection of how you've grown and how you're constantly moving forward in life. And it goes back to goals. We need to have sometimes small goals to have motivation and to have creative direction to what we're wanting in our lives.
I have... I think the odd time when I go into bed and I'm kind of really struggling with work things and I've got I'm so much to do, I'd take my notes section on my phone out and then definitely put down a kind of to-do list, and that definitely would help me. But I've never done it personally, but I think, it's probably the same thing. When things are on your mind, getting them out. I've seen it before, get out of your mind, get on paper, gives you peace. Because you're kind of putting it out into the universe.
That's what a brain dump is called. You're literally just dumping your brain down on paper. So your journal could be like my to-do list for today, and then say, how did I get on? How did it make me feel? I was overwhelmed. Why were you overwhelmed? Because of this, this and this. Okay, how could I change that? Like, I know I would suffer with anxiety.
Yeah.
And I'd be very a sensitive person, but I know I'm confident at the same time. So they're all versions of me. But it's having those mindset shifts to be like, I can feel like that and still feel like this at the same time.
Ah, okay. So, and do you do that in your workshop then? Because I know you do a load of workshops and they're very, very popular with people.
Yeah.
Because even those questions where I'd be afraid of writing things down, I wouldn't know what to ask myself about that. So you just mentioned like, why did I get overwhelmed?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know to ask that. I just dumped down what was on my mind. But yeah, so that's part of the journaling kind of experience, like as a knowledge that you would have, as in you pass it on to people in the workshops to be able to say, yeah, you can journal really well, you can do a brain dump, and then you can really dive into yourself, is it? And ask those questions.
Yeah, so you'd have your brain dump, you have your gratitude journal, you can be creative, you can like draw in it as well. There's so many different types of journaling, but even I do weekly classes where I teach people about self-reflection. I do breath work and meditation, and then
I've seen them on your page. They do those retreats as well, look quite cool.
I actually only did a workshop last week all about goal setting and the power of it, and how that will filter down into if you want to create a vision board for any listeners out there who likes doing that, because you can stick all like nice fancy coffees, matcha lattes and pilates on your board, but is that bringing value to your life and what you want?
Yeah. I do get into the vision board. I do believe in that one. I do.
think you should come to a workshop.
I think I'm just signing up to one here.
100%.
No, but I do, because I think even we saw the business a number of years ago. I've said this a few times before, and I bought a really cool car. But that car was always on my like wall as a kid.
I love it.
And I got rid of it soon afterwards because it didn't give me the feeling that I maybe thought I wanted in adult life. But I still wanted to do it to nod to the kid nearly that had the hopes and ambitions. Yeah. And I didn't really get what I thought it would in today's life, but it definitely did something for me when I got the car, and I was right, because it was, so I think that's not saying a vision board, but that is something that you're looking 100%. At when you're a kid and you're kind of program yourself, I'd love to have that car, I'd love to have that car. And then, then when you get the car, it's not, whatever, it's a car. But yeah, it does, I do believe in that piece. I definitely do think.
Yeah, it was still a goal or an achievement for you, that you wanted to feel that when you got to that point, you achieved success.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it is, and people do put a lot of things down to success from a monetary point of view. I want to get to something else. I know we're going to talk about finance and the kind of mindset for people in January, which is great. But I really was looking forward to this interview for this reason. When people that you kind of coach with and bring through your series, when they get to a certain level of either success or the relationship, so success business-wise or relationship or whatever, do they find that they hasn't given them what they thought it would give them?
Yeah.
Because I find that with financial planning, when I have clients come in and they reach a certain financial planning goal, other than a house, I think people really dig the house thing. Everything else, like monetary wise, when people want to invest and get to X amount, or they want to do something, I always find that they kind of, by the time they get there, it's not really what they want or need, or doesn't give them the satisfaction or a thing that they kind of maybe thought it was. That makes sense?
Yeah, because sometimes you can chase the feeling.
Yeah.
And then you have to really go back to, what does that feeling mean to you?
Yeah.
So are you just chasing the likes of the feeling of wanting it or the dopamine from it, or is that actually going to give you something in your life?
Yeah.
But when we do get something like, let's say you said the car, for instance, that came into your life and you were a bit like, oh, I have it now.
Yeah.
You got that fixed, but you were over it.
Yeah.
But what did you want to do with it? You know, you could sell it, you can do these things, but it gave you a measure of success in your life, which is good. I do think when you do get something, and I've been an overachiever, I'd say, for the majority of my life, but the last few years I've learned to be a lot more present. Pause. Whenever you have an achievement or a small goal, don't move on to the next straight away and be like, right, I used to be that person where I'd be like, I need to get a new college course, I need to get this. I never sat in it for a few months and was like, wow, look what I did.
Yeah.
Let it literally like seep in and soak in, and give yourself recognition and be present with your achievements instead of just cracking onto the next. You're not giving yourself a moment.
I think what you mentioned there about the journey is kind of the thing that really matters the most, isn't it? Really, you don't really pay attention to it when you're in it, because it's never that straightforward or that enjoyable.
And I have a funny analogy, and I always bring this up in my workshops. It's like, you know, the way when you say you go on holidays, right? And I say to a few of the people there, if you were to go on holidays tomorrow and I said to you, you'd click your fingers and you'd be in Tenerife, or would you rather go to the airport? Some of them were like, oh, I'd rather click my fingers and be in Tenerife. And some of them were like, I want to be in the airport. And I said, why? Because like, I know that it'd be stressful, but I'd get up and I'd have my airport outfit and I'd get a drink and see what's on the plane. I goes, because you embrace the journey before getting there. Where when you get to Tenerife, you're like, you just got here, you're not actually reflecting back.
You're not getting hell.
Yeah.
that's a really good way.
You have to reflect on the journey of being to get there, like you in the car. You worked hard, you saved your money. Instead of just going on to the next, you should stop and reflect and take stock, take an audit and be like, God. And I even do that, like, because I used to work in fashion as a buyer for years and in business development, and I'm in the wellness and self-improvement industry and content, etc., and podcasting. But at the same time, I do want more. But I have to pause and go, geez, look what I've done for just a few years. Like, I'm a changed person. I'm changing. I'm growing. I have all these achievements that some people would dream of. Instead of constantly coming from a want or a need. Just like, come from a place of, we say in mindfulness, non-striving. You don't always have to be thriving, evolving, growing. Maybe you just need to be still and appreciate and just be in it for a while.
I think when you mention kind of high achievers or people that are always strive for more, it's so hard to do that. Like, because your brain doesn't allow you sometimes, and your whole build-up is to keep going. I remember saying to Conor Byrne, Conor started a business with me back to 15 odd years ago.
I met with you, Cogs. Great finance guy.
He is. He's one of the best we have, in fairness. So Conor met and we set the office up in Baggot Street. It was a shared office back in the day, the two of us. And I think if I had ever looked into a crystal ball and find out what we ended up doing business-wise, I'm not being cocky saying this, I wouldn't have believed it, to be fair. So I feel very, very privileged and not worked hard on that, but I feel really, really good and lucky. But I said to Conor the other day, I miss those days of, like, we've got nearly 200 staff and a lot of acquisitions, and it's great. It's really good and it's great. But I miss those days of a small office with just 4 or 5, but in the office when you're growing and you get a client in and you're successful with the client relationship, and there's a kind of high and you're high-fiving each other and and you're dodging revenue letters at the same time, and it's just madness. And it's a crap time for businesses, but it's the most exciting time. I look back on that now, and I know I'm looking back at rose-tinted glasses the way we do with our childhood and all that type of stuff, but I'm looking back on, I love that. Like, and now it's just not that it's boring because it's big and it's whatever and it's corporate. But this is where I'd always wanted. This is beyond my wildest dreams. But when I look back, I'm raised and I didn't had a ball doing it. To be fair, it was great times, but I didn't appreciate it, I suppose, at the time.
Take more time, because even like, to me, do you know what it is? It's that in between phase where I'm kind of in that now, where it's before you start up and then the end of your goal. It's in that messy middle where you have the fear, you have the anxiety, it's exciting, but you're trying to get over the breadline, you're trying to get the mud, but like, you're kind of loving it at the same time. You're like,
you're loving the chaos. You love the chaos. But
then it's
hard to admit it.
It's learning to calm the chaos. Being like, I know it's chaos, but at the same time I need to calm down, because I used to be mental, like, as in, like, doing 50 million things a day and overachieving and running around, where now my nervous system was havoc. Learning to slow down and taking stock of what you have right now before moving into the new year. Let's say January, February, take stock. What do I have? What do I want to do? Because small steps equals big change.
So let's get back on to the actual topic after that tangent. Sorry, that was my fault. When it comes back to goal setting for January, for New Year, or February, we're going to do, how do you make, kind of back to my point of the kind of, when you get to the goal and you mightn't really appreciate it because you've changed. A lot of people change during the process of getting to goals and places they want to get in life. How do you know what is a real goal or what you should be really doing? So, like, because there's stuff out there.
I'll tell you now, that you need to assess your values. What are your values? So before even you write down your goals, this is what I do in my workshops. I'll ask you what your values are, and people are like, oh, what are they? They are the principles and core behaviours which you go off and which make up you. So for me, for instance, what would your core values? Do you know what they are, Paul?
No.
Okay.
No.
So what are important to you?
Sorry, I would. I think I kind of struggle with this all the time, because I'm going to start with Sarah and the kids and my family. And they generally, and you do everything is around family. So, and it is. But then, right, and this sounds like a counselling session. But then, when you go to work and you have to work late and you have to kind of distract yourself and your family. So I'm kind of getting pulled with that now. I was on 44 in a few weeks on.
25, I get the maths.
Brain of an 18-year-old still. But when you get to then do things that distract away from your core values, I find that a struggle. So I can hand on heart say my core values are my family, but then when I do things that, I'm not saying sacrifice it, but when you're doing things that prioritise business and other relationships over it, I find it's a conflict then. And you're in your own head. Not that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
So that's why I struggle when you say, what is your core value? You're kind of going, actually.
But you'd have loads. You can have 10 values, but you have your 5 core. So obviously, like, family means something to you, business, success.
So they don't have to be in importance. It can be.
No.
Maybe that's the difference. Though,
No, it doesn't have to be important. So core would be like your top 5.
Okay.
They don't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could say family's number 1, but you don't even have to rank them. It's like what's meaningful to me. So for me, it's all about connection, creativity, kindness, authenticity, family, like, all those things. So when you kind of write them down, you can get them online or you can message me if you want at Emma Kehoe on Instagram. And if you write them down, then okay, they're my top 5. Then this is going to make you make an inner compass for you on how you create your decision making with your goals. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to go to the gym, right? Be like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do 5K. You can't put the boots, sorry.
Yeah, for listeners, I have a boot on my left ankle because I did some ligament damage during the week because I'm old. But yeah, I won't be doing 5Ks anytime soon.
No.
Yeah.
But
upper body I can still do.
Yeah. So I was like, so let's say if you're at home and you have 3 young children, right? And your husband or your wife is at work and you're up the walls and you want to do, let's say, a couch 5K or a 2-hour run every single week or every single day. And that's your goal. But you have to be realistic. What do you value more? Let's say time with your children or time, even a half an hour out on a walk, and you can do other things with that. So probably right now that's not realistic for you.
I love that, yeah.
I'm not going
to. I know it sounds obvious. I know it sounds obvious.
This is it. It's not realistic or attainable.
But you think then that with Instagram, or I know we both have kind of obviously an Instagram profile or a social media presence, okay? So do you think that we put too much pressure under ourselves? Because I'm one of those idiots that will wake up and see something on Instagram and go, great, I'm going to get a 6-pack in 6 weeks or whatever. And I'll let all those core values maybe slip out because I probably don't recognise what the core values are.
Yeah.
But then I'd make myself believe that if I'm going to the gym and I'm working out, I'm going to be a better dad because I can lift the kids. It's just weird.
You're in conflict with yourself.
Yeah,
all
you're in
the
a
time.
conflict.
So even for that, when you have your goals, when you have your values, then you're able to write down your goals, okay? So one sheet of paper, write down your values. Another sheet of paper, just throw out all the goals that you want to achieve. I mean, something so small. It could be cleaning the garage, doing, 3 walks a week. And then big goals, new car, whatever it is. Then you're going to look at your values and see, are they aligned with what you want, okay? And remember, in your goal setting, you're going to have 7 areas of your life. If you want to get hone in on things and you're like, I don't even know what areas to write in, but there's 7 areas kind of top line in goal setting. So you'll have finance, you'll have career and business, you'll have family, you'll have relationships, fun, or social, self-development, and physical environment.
Okay.
So even those 7, I want you to kind of look at, okay, what are the ones that are screaming out to me a little bit? 2 or 3 of them. I want to change the house. That'd mean a lot to me. I want to probably eat healthier, and I want to actually communicate better to my partner. There's your top 3 instead of 7 or 8 goals.
Yeah.
You're honing it in instead of being overwhelmed at the big, huge jigsaw
very good.
puzzle.
That makes sense.
You're making little pieces come together. So you have, and then you look at your values and go, they sit so much better.
Yeah.
And then from that, so you have your values, your goals.
Then they're more attainable because they're not because they're not actually interfering then with your core values and pulling you away from what you want. Very good.
Exactly. And then you can basically habit stack, or else you can take action going, okay, how am I going to get that car? Well, I have a little bit more money now because I'm after getting a raise. I can put that away to get the new car then, so then we can all go on a road trip or whatever. So you can see the bigger picture. It goes with, you wanted to save more, which is a value of yours, and family time. So that actually sits better, and that is called alignment.
So what I'm hearing here is I can go back to my wife Sarah and say my 9-year-old Luca wants me to buy a Ferrari and I can get one. Thank you. That's just there.
Mic drop. Done.
So you mentioned finance in there, right? So when you're doing your workshops, when you're speaking to people, I'm guessing when people are putting down, because now obviously people come into me and to the practice here, and they'll obviously have financial goals. That's what they want to use us for.
I was one of them.
Yeah. But when they come to you, because it's such a broad, like, they're not coming to me for... Yeah. No, I do think financial planning brings a lot of peace to your overall mindset and your well-being, your kind of mental health well-being as well, and can help you enjoy your life if you have a really good financial plan. I've always said that. The reason why financial planning is so important to me is that I do think we really get to change people's lives. Even if it's not putting tens of thousands or millions aside, knowing where they're going to be in 2 or 3 years' time. And I always use the example of like a couple that have maybe a mortgage and kids under 5. They're not supposed to be flush with money, but the financial plan shows them that they're okay to be not okay at this stage, and then in 5 years' time, when scratch fee is finished and you can put more money aside and you can trade up then in 5 years, or you can get back towards Dublin or whatever their goals are. Yeah. So I always love that part of the financial planning with the goal setting.
Yeah, it's forward planning.
Yeah. So what do you find on the other kind of mega system of mind setting, what do you find is working for clients when it comes to finance or not working, or where do people get caught up?
I think
be really interesting here.
Yeah, I'd say from a point of view would be just like sporadic spending.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Especially from social media. I have been a victim of that, like over God, how many years we all have. But I find I'd say ever since COVID, I'm a lot more mindful because I am saving. Do I need that top? Am I going to wear it? Does it go with things in my wardrobe? Or, you know, things have gotten a lot more expensive now. Are you buying a top or do you want an experience? So for me, for the sake of say €50 on a top, I'd rather go out for like, you know, like a coffee or brunch with my sisters or with my boyfriend. It's either an experience or people don't have the expenditure that we used to, that kind of throwaway income. And then it has gotten a lot more expensive. That would be one element of it all, is spending like that. And then obviously rent, people trying to save or at home and with children. That's why sometimes like I make sure my indoor classes I do on a weekly basis, they are quite, they are at a point where they're minimum kind of like pay. They're like, I don't charge a lot of money for my class because I know they're all moms, they're working full time, so I make it affordable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Try and get them,
Exactly, for a bit of time out for mothers there as well. And then the last part would be on finance. It's around your worth.
Yeah.
People trying to put value on their worth. So I'd have a lot of people that would be setting up their own new businesses or maybe going to a new job or even career coaching, and they don't want to go for a raise because they don't feel worthy of it. And that, even to say, for instance, I would have been that girl as well. So I know what it's like. So I'm able to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
And I'd say, okay, so when have you done a good job? Give me evidence. I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Okay, brilliant. So what went wrong? Nothing really, but maybe this and this. I go, so why exactly then can you not get a raise? God, yeah. I said, there you go. You have evidence. It's factual. You're self-sabotaging yourself. You're telling yourself lies. But until you have factual information in front of you.
And you realise it maybe as well.
Then you need to get rid of those negative thoughts and those limiting beliefs because you have factual information. Our brains are wired to go to the negative as humans, and in neuroscience, they are wired to go to the negative. So it's up to us to rewire and think of the positive before the negative, because we all do it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a natural instinct, yeah.
100%.
It's that kind of the fight or flight kind of system, is it? You're obviously going to go to, in case something goes wrong, what way is your body going to react? And that's where probably that kind of mindfulness and life coaching comes in, because a lot of people in their own head can't find those until they get coached to get them out on paper or get them thinking about, like you said, give me the evidence and drag it out of them and trying to get them recognise it. Yeah. Where they're not being asked the question, they mightn't be able to get there by themselves. So there's nothing wrong with that. No. That's just, he says, it's human psyche.
But it's even like, I always ask this question when I do workshops, because this is the famous thing we all say as Irish people. So I'll ask you, Paul, how are you?
Grand.
Yeah. Okay, then we go in, how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
How are you really though?
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're getting deeper, aren't you? Because you just automatically put up the facade, like up there. Yeah. It's like that pennies hunt thing, isn't it? When someone says you look great, pennies hunt. Yeah. Even though it's not pennies, you just want to deflect away, stay away. Say yeah.
When you just take time to say, you know, the way if someone asked you, or you want to ask yourself, and I have a really good useful tool. I even did it there on Wednesday. Is just for listeners out there as well, is check in on yourself every single day, outside of your family, your friends, your partners. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to wake up and say, how am I feeling today? 1 being not so good, 10 being amazing. And just recognise where you're at here and now, not yesterday, not tomorrow. And if you feel where you're at, honour that number, but know that you can always change that number, because the number can be low some days, high. But once you know what number you're at, and when you're communicating to your partner, your friends, you know, God, I'm kind of middle of the road here, instead of trying to push through and mask. And especially coming into January, we do feel a bit sluggish. We do feel a bit down. We're trying to, you know, there's a lot of anxiety around to be like new year, new me. And then with your own finances, like, you know, fitness, everything like that. Like, you know, trying to get back on track with healthy eating. It's like, just like lay off the heat for a little bit. I always say, instead of season into the new year, ease into the new year.
Yeah. Instead of getting yourself
just
caught up.
Ease in. Don't be going gung-ho.
It's only a date, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and really, guys, really, the new year doesn't start until like the end of March, April, springtime. Yeah. It's the real new year when all the animals come out.
Yeah, I love that time. I absolutely.
It's time, but we feel more energy, don't we? We're like spring in our.
Well, I definitely think I have that kind of sun. What's it called? Sad. 100%. We were in Tenerife for Christmas, and it was like amazing. Got back off the plane, I was like, oh.
You should get those lamps for beside your bed. You know, the little sun lamps.
Nah, I think I just moved Tenerife.
You could do that as well. We could do the podcast over there in Tenerife.
Yeah, you could do
Live.
that. Yeah, live from Tenerife. Emma, your big tips then before we go. What is the big tips for people? I know you mentioned load on the show. For people that have just tuned in or joined in or listen back on the pod, what is your big, from a mindfulness and a life coach? And I know everyone's going to be different as listening to it. It's a very wide subject. I'm going to give mine in a second. What's your maybe top one thing?
One thing I'd say, checking in with yourself. Just on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? How do you feel? Because what that's going to do is that's going to bring awareness. Not an awful lot of people have probably an increased awareness of how they're feeling inside their body, because how you react, what's going on internally is going to show up externally. So you know sometimes where you're having a bad day and you take it out on someone, you haven't recognised where you're at that day, saying, God, I actually had a bit of a bad day. See where you're at. God, I need a walk. I need a coffee. You're assessing, you're aware, and then you're able to reflect and deflect that then. You're not sitting inside your own. That's something so simple because it's going to give you a lot of other tools to bring on board as well.
Right. My one is a cheat sheet is to go to Emma's Instagram page, which Emma Kehoe, at Emma Kehoe, and get onto one of our workshops. Because I just got a free one today, so I'm delighted.
Thanks, Paul.
Guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Emma, thanks for taking time to be in the studio. It's been a pleasure and we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you.